Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. In this one, after about 9 months I finally get to take my T25 Lucky Bonzo for an MOT. I have no idea how it's going to go. I've spent a lot of time doing a lot of jobs over the last 9 months, been tied into the weather. It could be that I take it and he's meets the end of his road and I decide that he's not for me anymore, or it could be that it's not going to take much to get through, but for the price of an MOT, which is about £40 here, I'm going to go for it. So I'm going to take it to a Volkswagen camper van classic car specialist, so that if it does need anything, I've got the option for just to tell them to go ahead and do it. So I have dropped the camper off. This is the car they've given me in the meantime. It's due its MOT tomorrow and it's the first time I've really driven at any great distance. I was on my own so I couldn't film when I was driving, plus I had my my hands full just listening for things, seeing how it was. When there's no MOT, you're not covered by any recovery company, so I was quite cautious that if I broke down I had no kind of immediate backup plan to get it uplifted. But it was fine. There was a few things I noticed on the drive, a few squeaks and creaks, which I suppose is normal. As I got closer, it was only an 8-mile drive, as I got closer, the left front brake was binding slightly, it was just catching, just because it's been sitting. Obviously tapping the brakes and letting it off kind of freed it off, so that's one to keep an eye on if it passes its MOT on that. The heating, I knew the heater wasn't working, but when you're driving the hot air's coming through, so it's enough to clear the windows, so that was fine. I was quite pleased with that. I put petrol in and the petrol gauge works, so that was a plus as well. The gears, first and second gear are there, but the biting point, especially for first gear, is very high and it's not as precise as third and fourth, so it probably needs more adjustment, to be honest, on the gear linkage from when I done it last time, especially in first and second. Now I did set that back to what it was, but that was never great when I got the van, so it's obviously been set up wrong initially and I've just set it back to where it was. So yeah, that's going to need a bit more. I'm hoping it's that anyway, because if not, then it's the clutch. I need a new clutch. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just hoping that the MOT goes well tomorrow. And it's make or break really. I'm not spending an awful lot more money on it. I can chip away, but I would rather have an MOT and have it mobile, so I can do a rolling restoration, pretty much the same as Ed. But if it's going to need a lot of work, then I'll kind of need to make that decision. Does he stay or does he go, or how do I choose something going forward? So yeah, just dropped it off. Sorry, it's more of a video log this than rather footage, but if I can I'll get some when I pick it up, but it'll only be if one of the kids is with me. I can't video it otherwise. But I was grinning ear to ear, smiling. The first time I really drove it, comparing it to the Minis and the Type 2, it's something different again. It's quite, for a 38-year-old van, it was quite impressive. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so hopefully many more to come, but we'll soon see. There he goes, let's drive him home. Ready? There's no doubt he wasn't starting. So yeah, he was in for his MOT and he failed on brake and balance across the front, brake and balance across the left, the back, and the handbrake efficiency basically. So brakes all round, which is understandable because he's sat for a good part of 2 years, and although I've kept him moving, he's not had the brakes done. It was on my list, so because of the bad weather I've just not had that chance. But basically I've ordered brake parts. I'm going to take them away, get all the brakes done, and get them back through the MOT. Other thing it failed on was the washer fluid. Basically there's nothing happening when you push it, so I was in two minds whether just to get the garage to do it, just to save taking them away, but I thought no, I'll just get them, I'll take them away, I'll do my bit, get them back and hopefully get them through. I'm quite pleased there was nothing structural, no body work because I'm fed up with welding, to be honest, and yeah, I'll have to plug away the next few days and see if I can get these things fixed and get them back in and get them MOT'd. But we've got an 8 mile drive now, and I never filmed it on the way here because, as I said, I didn't have a cameraman, but I'm really pleased with the way he drives. He's started up there, and yeah, I've got a list of things I still need to do, just work through them one at a time, but it's this, the smile, when you're driving it, when seeing the traffic behind you building up and not really caring, you're just enjoying the drive. So yeah, my camera person here is going to dip in, dip out, and I'm doing this for my kids ultimately, so that we can enjoy camping and we can have memories, and they all start here. That's what it's about. 3 mile and I can smell burning. I think it's probably calipers catching kind of that kind of smell. But other than that, I'm quite pleased with the way it's driving. It sits nice, you know, there's no rocks or rolls, so the suspension's all good and tight. And the gears definitely are the biggest notable thing. I need to adjust the gears because first gear, it's a very high biting point, and basically it's sometimes too high if it's not in the right position. So yeah, it's just first is the worst. Going into second can be a bit of a challenge. Third and fourth are fine. But yeah, it's about the drive. Still getting used to the gears, but I like this kind of being up here. I like, it's never going to have pull, it's never going to be the fastest thing on the planet, but that's not why I bought it. But compared to the Mini's nippy, goes around corners. Do I prefer the drive of this compared to the Type 2? Ask me again when I fixed the little tweaks on it, but I did enjoy the T2, I have to say. That was a really good drive, and it drove better than this, if I'm honest. But it needs tweaks. So yeah, my daughter here is just going to show you some of the scenery, and I'm just going to enjoy the next 10 minutes drive home. Always nervous with the unknown, but yeah, I'm really pleased, and I just need to chip away now. Hopefully get a retest before the 10 days, or 10 working days for the MOT, and get them back in so I can just take them for random drives. He made it home. You could probably tell by the smile. I really enjoyed that. I'm quite fussy. There's the little things that'll bother me till I fix them, so gears are a definite need fixed, and it's just about getting down there and adjusting them. But obviously my priority is the MOT. I need to chip away at that now and try and get it done as soon as, because once I get it back and ticked off, it's a rolling restoration, as I said before. So yeah. Failed on service brake effectively below requirements, which is the handbrake. Brakes imbalanced across the front axle. Brakes imbalanced across the rear axle, and the windscreen washer provides insufficient washer fluid. So, and an advisory for the for a brake binding, that one there, and worn tyres at the rear, but they're just advisories. So, observations when I come back. When I get out, I could smell the burning and I could feel the heat off that wheel, so that caliper's definitely binding. Whether it's the piston in the caliper or the slider pins, the hoses, or old fluid, I don't know. I'm not going to muck about with it. I'm going to get the wheels off and have a look at it, but I've already ordered calipers. So he's going to get 2 new calipers in the front, I'm going to look at the back. I've ordered wheel cylinders. If it needs them just now, I'll do it just now, but if not, then I'll get it adjusted and cleaned enough for the MOT, and I can do that later. But yeah, definite calipers for the front. That, when I do all of that and I put the new brake fluid in and bleed it, will probably resolve some of the other issues, because the back brakes, the service brakes, self-adjusting, and it's going to be an issue. The adjusters, I'm guessing, are probably going to be seized, so I'll need to get into that pretty much. I'll show some of that. I'm not going to show the full procedures because I'm against the clock here. I'll just jump in and out. The windscreen washer. I wasn't aware if it was just coming out dribs and drabs or if it was not working at all, but there's nothing at all. So the first thing I need to do with that, which is going to be on my list first, is I need to get underneath and I need to check the wiring. If it had been coming out a little bit, then I'd be looking at blocked hoses or blocked jet or a leak somewhere, and to be honest, I was kind of dreading that because it's under the dash, the hose, and I have got hoses ordered, but I've got stuff I need to do under here and I would like to do that all at the same time. So I'm hoping it's just a fuse or a bad earth or something like that, because they did work. I tested them before it, when I do my checks probably a few months ago, so I'm hoping it's just a bad earth. But I need to get underneath just to check all the wiring and clean all that. I've ordered a motor anyway, just in case it is that, and to be honest, it can be used for the Type 2 if it doesn't need it for this. So yeah, I'm going to jump in and out, showing you what I find, and I need to get this back on the road, because this has just motivated me. It's motivated me to get out with the kids. The kids are growing up, I don't want them missing out on a camper van sitting on the drive. And these videos, like my earlier ones, I look back on with fond memories. It's enjoyable for me looking back and having the memories at the time that I might otherwise forget. A photo tells you a snapshot, but I find these videos are quite good at jumping in and out, and I'll go on and watch other people's videos and adventures in their camper van just because they make me smile. Just because I've got a passion for these and minis. Yeah, right, let's get on while the sun's shining. A blown fuse, what a result. So I'm jumping in and out here, got one of the brakes off. Basically this side is a bit tighter than the other side, so I'm hoping it just needs adjusted. The handbrake operation is fine, it's self-adjusting, so I've done the procedure on the Haynes manual and it seems to be holding where it should be, so hoping that's the adjustment side of the handbrake at least. But you can see the meat on here is really good, they actually look fairly new. And the drum, I was expecting to see quite a bit of dust in here, nothing. And it came off really easy, so yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm going to give it a quick clean with brake cleaner, just to get any existing dust off. But yeah, I'm really pleased, hopefully the other side's the same. Okay, onto the driver's side, or the off side. Really pleased this side as well, came off without hassle. That looks like a fairly new wheel cylinder, and that looks like a fairly new brake pipe, albeit a bit wavy. But yeah, came off easy, pads are a good thickness. The drum, slight bit of dust in there, I'll clean that out. But again, came off really well, adjuster looks pretty good. It does look like it's had copper grease on, so it has been looked after, which is all good signs. I'll give this a clean and I'll adjust this, maybe one click just to see how that goes on, because this is the side that was slightly looser than the other and I just need to get both sides balanced basically. And when I put them back on, like I always do, I'll be adding in copper grease to stop anything seizing for the wheel nuts, also the nuts in here. Yeah, so I'll go and do that, and hopefully I can get these back brakes fixed quite quickly and easily. So one of the wheels off, and obviously this wasn't covered on the MOT, although it did get advisories for low, but you can see it's all cracking everywhere, so yeah, this is going to be replaced. You're only ever going to see that if it's set away because it's on the inside, but yeah, that's definitely not safe to drive on. The wheels are back on. All I had to do was adjust this side because it was loose, and they're now both the same. Just ignore that, that'll get dealt with later. Okay, so it's 6:30 in the morning, Saturday morning. It's supposed to be quite bad weather today. I have a few hours where it's supposed to be dry, so I'm going to try and crack on with these front brakes. I'm hoping they won't take too long, but I won't know till I get the wheels off if I need other parts and things. So yeah, that's the plan now. Get out, get the wheels off and get a look and start repairing. So, bolts on this side, very tight and very hard to get loosened, but they're loosened, jacked up, and it's on axle stands. See the difference here. The side we know there's a problem with. Compared to the other side. So I'm going to start on the other side first. Okay, caliper is off. Bolts weren't too bad on this. It's not used to actually seeing a flexi hose then going to a solid hose at the caliper, but this was jammed solid when it came off. I tried getting the caliper back and it's solid stuck in place. So yeah, seized piston is one of the problems. Slider pins, bottom one is fine, top one okay, but it was a bit sticky when I first done it, so unequal pins. The discs are actually not too bad, there's a slight lip, so these will be getting replaced, but for the purpose of this and for the MOT, they are fine. You can see they've obviously been standing a while how rusty they are, although at Scotland it doesn't take long for even new discs to look like that. Pads, yeah, it needs new pads, but again for the MOT there's a good bit of meat on them, but you can see the state of them crumbling around there, so that's deterioration and age, so yeah, it definitely needs new pads. The other side, slider pins, a lot freer. The pads, you can see that's just what's sitting. There's a lot more thickness on that, but obviously they'll be changed along with the other side. As predicted, rain. So I've just to get basically the caliper back on, but I'll jump in and out. I've got a ready-made storage space here, and yeah, it's frustrating, and that's why I got up early and I have got some stuff done. It means I can go online, order some parts, hopefully it'll be here at the start of the week, and then it'll be ready for fitting for the MOT. So while it's raining, I'm inside. I'm just getting rid of some of the brake fluid at the top because I'm going to renew it, and look at the state of this stuff. Pretty nasty. That should be a nice, not clear, but like a sunflower oil colour, and yeah, it's well overdue a change. So I'm going to take this to the minimum level, and then I'll start topping up, and once I've got the brakes in I can then get this ready just to bleed through. Next again day, right, the threads on this brake pipe here that goes from the flexi hose to the caliper weren't great, and as I was putting it in the new caliper, it just wasn't taken in here, and rather than risk anything and damage the threads on here, which you don't want to do on a brand new caliper, I decided just to order new ones of these. So I've ordered these along with the brake pads, but they're going to be a few days to come, so there's not much I can do on this side just now. So I'm going to get the van as prepared as I can, so that when
the new parts come, it's just a case of getting the pads and the calipers fitted, and also then I can just bleed the brakes and change the brake fluid. And the sun's shining today, which is a bonus. I've got this side and the other side to a stage where basically they're just ready to fit the new brake pipe and caliper on here and the brake pads on here. What I've done is I've just put a little bung from my finger on here just to stop any fluid leaking. It is, however, blocked here. I'm not fussed about air because, like I say, I'm replacing the brake fluid anyway, so it's all getting bled. But yeah, I've got this all cleaned and prepared with the copper grease ready to go. So like I say, it's literally ready to go on. And the same on the other side. I've taken the caliper off here as well, and basically just the exact same condition as the other side. The caliper here, the bolt that goes to the same pipe inside that goes to the caliper from the flexi hose, it was just rounding, so I ended up having to cut the brake pipe in so I could get a socket over it, which thankfully done the job, because if it didn't, I was then looking at new flexi hoses and it just spirals, kind of worms. Ignore the mess slash workbench. I just thought I'd give you a look at the new brake fluid versus the old. How nasty is that? Okay, the new pads are here and in. Brand new from Brickworks, so good, decent quality. The new pipes here also from Brickworks. I quite like these. They've got a plastic coating and they're pre-shaped. A lot of the other ones out there were just basically a 305mm pipe with unions on. Now this bit here is quite fiddly, trying to get all this lined up, and the mistake I made taking it off was I slightly cross-threaded the hose, but I've managed to get it back just through a tap and die set. The hoses will be getting replaced, just not just now, so yeah, quite pleased with that. So what I found was it was easier putting the caliper and the hose on first and then doing the bracket. If you try and do it when the bracket's in, you run the risk of cross-threading it, and I don't want to do that on a new caliper. So yeah, it's all on. Just needs to get put on here and bleed the brakes, and that's me. The other side is done and attached. So yeah, next stage, bleeding the brakes.
He has an MOT, so yeah, passed, flying colours, one advisory for one tyre, that side. The tyre that was in this video with the nail in it, I've just stuck that as a spare tyre just now. I need to replace the two tyres, but to drive safely obviously I wasn't putting that one back on. So yeah, one advisory for a new tyre, that'll be sorted. So yeah, I'm absolutely delighted. I got to drive them. And apart from the parts, it cost me my time and £45 for an MOT. Had I got the garage to repair it, I'd have probably been on a few £100 on that. But ultimately, that's why I love doing stuff myself, because yeah, the garage will do it, you'll get it done quickly. When you're doing it yourself, you learn every little bit about the van, you know what's been put in, and while you're doing that, you're also noticing what else you need to replace, so you're kind of pre-planning what's to come. And it's the same with the minis. I love knowing what's been done and knowing what needs to be done. So, what needs to be done? What did I pick up? The drive home, the clutch and the gears are an issue. Possibly a clutch because of the high biting point, however sometimes when it goes in it's a lower biting point, so the first thing I'm going to look at in the next videos is adjusting the gear linkage. I need to get that done to get them driving better. I got a flashing temperature warning light. Closer look was I seem to have a slight leak. I was losing fluid from the temperature sensor that goes to the manifold heater, so that should be fine. A new seal is required for that. So yeah, the next video is going to be all about getting all these niggly things fixed that gets me and the kids camping. That's ultimately what I want to do. There's going to be ongoing stuff, there always is, but those few things to get him driving safely and nicely are priority. Starting with the window next to me as well. So yeah, that's all in the next video. I'll do the same as I did with this one. I'll jump in and out. I'm not going to cover full restorations because the clock is against me. If you enjoy those kind of videos, that's fine. I'll keep doing them. If you don't like watching them, then you know what I mean. I'm doing it anyway. I'm just filming it as part of my passion and my hobby, and that's why I'm sharing with you guys. So yeah, I will end that one there. I'll say thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers!